I've just heard a delightful tale that I am dying to share with you all.
The man said, "By the way, I'm Death. Hello."
Death does some wacky cool magic.
And the boy says, "Oh, please, just allow me to watch one more charity live stream before I die. That is all I want."
Not sure what the master thought of this. He kind of disappears from the story.
I'm at the foot of the bed, and your potion's at the head of the bed.
Okay, that situation seems a bit confusing, but I guess it's better than me going forever, so we take those.
Oh, he mad.
I don't know, that sounds pretty cool.
Nothing death gifts is without its consequences.
I'll just flip the mattress, and which, you should do every 6 months or so at home, just for reference.
Welcome to Narrative Telephone. Our storyteller has recorded themselves reciting a short story, then sent this recording to another member of the side quest team. After hearing the story once, they recounted the story the best they could for the next team member, and so on, and so on.
There once was a boy apprenticed to a master brewer. At the end of his apprenticeship, the boy asked only for a keg of the finest ale, which he took and set off to find his fortune. After the boy had been walking for a while with his keg, he began to think that it had grown too heavy. He sat down on the side of the road and waited. Very soon came a man with pale skin and a gaunt face. "Good day," said the man. "Good day," said the boy. "I'm waiting for someone with whom I might share a drink to lighten my load. Would you care to drink with me?" The two sat and drank. After a while, the pale man said to the boy, "My name is Death. This is the finest ale I have ever had, so I would like to offer you a gift. From this day on, your keg will never be empty and it will never grow heavy. Anyone who drinks from it will gain direct relief and be healed. But I must warn you, if you enter a room and I am sitting by the sickbed, when I am at the foot, you might offer your drink and heal them. But if I am at the head, there is nothing you can do to save them." The boy agreed. As the boy continued on his journeys, he brought relief to many lands and became well known for his magic healing ale. Eventually, the king's daughter took ill, and he summoned the boy. When he entered the princess's chamber, he was sad to see Death sitting at the head of her bed. When he said there was nothing he could do, the king pleaded and offered him many riches. The boy looked, and he saw that Death was asleep. Silently, he helped the servants flip the princess's bed around, so now Death was sitting at the foot. He gave her a drink from his keg. Miraculously, the princess was saved. Death woke up and saw what the boy had done. "You have cheated me. She should have been mine, but you have healed her. Now, you will be mine." The boy sadly asked for one last request, that he might watch one more charity stream before dying. Death agreed, but the boy was clever, and he played many games, but he never donated to charity again. Eventually, Death decided to play a trick of his own. One night, he crept into the boy's room and hung a monitor above his bed. When the boy woke up, he began to watch the stream, and before he realized what happened, he heard the words, "Donate now to Direct Relief and support the Health Equity Fund."
This is the story of the apprentice and the master brewer. There was a boy who was apprenticed to a master brewer. He made lots of beverages. One day, the brewer told the boy to take this keg to a specific area. So off the boy went. After a while, he got tired. The keg got heavy. He wanted to sit down. So he put the keg down, and there was a guy, tall and very pale. The man asked for a drink. He was thirsty. So the boy said, "Sure." And so they sat down and had a little drink. When halfway through this, the man said, "By the way, I'm Death. Hello. Since you were so kind to me, I'm going to grant you this. What is inside of this keg now has magical properties, and you will be able to heal a person if they are sick, and it will grant them direct relief. If you see me at the head of the bed of a sick person, that is not going to be, that person's not going to be saved. They're mine. But if they see me at the foot of a bed of a sick person, then you can heal them. Jolly, the boy went off, and he went healing many people, traveling many lands. One day, there was a princess who was very sick. She needed healing. So when the boy got up to the room of the princess, he saw Death at the head of the bed. However, Death was taking a nap, and the boy, this clever boy, he decided to turn the mattress so that the foot was the head and the head was the foot. So then he gave some of the potion from the keg to the princess. The princess healed. But when the Death woke up, the Death, he was very unhappy. Like, how dare you trick me? That's what happened. Well, instead of her, I shall take you. But the boy pleaded. So clever. He said, but I would love to watch just one more charity stream before I die. So Death agreed. Days later, weeks later, the boy played many games, but he did not watch a charity stream. Death got wise. He got a plan. So one night when the boy was sleeping, he crept into the room and put a monitor in front of him so that when he woke up, he would be watching a charity stream. And that charity stream, when the boy woke up, it said, donate now to Direct Relief.
So, alright, narrative telephone, step 3. So, there once was this kid who was apprenticed to a master brewer who made many fine things to drink. And as the apprentice, had to do some of the heavy lifting around the place. So his master one day was like, here, I have this keg, I need you to deliver it. So the boy's walking around carrying the keg, and of course it's heavy, because liquid's heavy, and he's just like, I gotta sit down, I need a break. And while he's resting, this man approaches who's like real tall, real thin, real pale, just like, I don't know about you. But he asked the kid for a drink. And the kid was like, sure, okay. And so they sat and they drank together, they chatted, and it was very amiable. And the man eventually revealed, you know what, I am actually Death. But because you showed such kindness to me, I am going to do this favor for you. All the liquid in this keg is now magical, and it can heal people. It can bring them direct relief. But there was a condition to this. Some people, if they were like too close to death, couldn't be healed. And the way that the boy could tell this is if he came to the bed of someone who was dying. If he saw Death at the foot of the bed, then they were still only mostly dead, and they could still be healed. But if he saw Death at the head of the bed, then they were lost cause. Like, sorry, dude, that's how it goes. But the kid was just like, I don't know, that sounds pretty cool. So he took the keg. Not sure what the master thought of this. He kind of disappears from the story. And he went around to various parts of the kingdom healing people, because that's a cool thing to do. So time came when one of the sick people was a princess. She was dying. She was not good. And the boy shows up, and Death is sitting at the head of the bed. However, Death was asleep. Death had been working very hard and needed a nap. So the kid was like, I know how loopholes work. And he turned the mattress around so that suddenly Death is now at the foot of the bed, not the head of the bed, and therefore he could give the drink to the princess, and the princess got better. It worked. Death was a little mad about this. Death felt like this was cheating. And he's like, you know what? Someone's still gotta die here, so I guess it's gonna be you. And the kid was just like, I don't like this. So he decided to make one plea, and he said, I just wish I could watch one more charity stream before I die. And Death is a reasonable fellow. He's like, you know what, this is allowed. I will allow you to do this. So then naturally, the kid made it a point to avoid all the charity streams. He played saw plenty of regular streams. He played games himself, but he did not watch any charity streams. And Death finally was like, I've had enough of this. So he set up a monitor in front of the kid's bed while he was sleeping, so that when he woke, the first thing that he would see is a screen that said, donate to direct relief. And that was the story. Have fun, next person.
Okay, narrative telephone, step 4. This is going to be a doozy. So, there is a child who is an apprentice to a master brewer. And the brewer makes all kinds of wonderful drinks for everyone throughout the kingdom. And he charges his apprentice with a task to take this keg and to deliver it to a client across the kingdom. So the child takes the keg, and it's very heavy, and he's carrying it down the road. And it's so heavy, he has to stop and take a break. And the child is sitting at the side of the road with his keg. And a man approaches him, and this man is very tall and very thin and very pale. And he approaches the child and says, Child, would you please spare me just a small drink from your keg? And the child sees no harm in this. It's a small drink, it's a big keg. So he shares a drink with him, and the two sit and they chat, and they have a good time. And they get to the end of their chat, and the man reveals that he is in fact Death. And he was here to take the boy's life, but since the boy had been so kind to him, and shared a drink and shared a pleasant chat, that he would spare him, and in fact, for being so kind, he would in fact give him a blessing. And so Death blessed this keg, and the drink within it, that anyone who is sick or dying who takes of this drink will be healed. But there is a condition, that the boy has to take the drink to the bedside of the sick person, and if Death is at the foot of the bed, then they can still be healed. There's still time. But if Death is at the head of the bed, then it's too late for this person, and they cannot be saved. So the boy accepts this gift, and he takes his keg, and he travels throughout the whole kingdom, and he delivers his magical drink to many, many people, young and old, rich and poor, saves many, many lives, until one day he happens upon the king's castle, where the princess has fallen very ill. And the boy goes inside, and he finds that Death is at the head of the princess's bed. But Death has fallen asleep. And so the boy thinks, perhaps he can pull a trick here, perhaps he can outsmart Death. And so he lifts the mattress of the princess, and he turns it around, so that Death is now at the foot of the princess's bed. And he gives the princess a drink, and she is cured, and she is saved. Death awakes, and he does not like this. He is very unhappy, so he says to the boy, you have cheated me this day. You have taken this life from me, so I will take your life in exchange. And the boy pleads with him. He gets down on his knees and he says, no, please, Death. Please, would you just allow me one favour? We had such good times together. Would you please just allow me one small gift before I die? And Death says, okay, since you have been good, since you have spared so many, done such good things in your life, what is this one thing you would wish? And the boy says, oh, please, just allow me to watch one more charity live stream before I die. That is all I want. And Death agrees. And so the boy returns to his home, and he spends his days live streaming himself and watching many of his friends, but never watching a charity live stream. He refuses, for he knows that as soon as he does, Death will come for him. Death, again, is unhappy that he is still being cheated by this boy. And so Death decides to pull a trick of his own, and he sets up a monitor at the end of the boy's bed while he is sleeping, so that when the boy awakes, the first thing he sees is Zeldathon streaming for direct relief. Go to zeldathon.net and donate right now.
This is Narrative Telephone. I'm MC, and I just listened to Organics tell a tale that I want to share with all of you. Once long ago, in a wonderful land, there was a master brewer. He brewed all sorts of wonderful drinks and beverages as you would. And he was traveling along on a road one day when he came up about somebody who asked him for a drink from his keg. And the boy said, well, I mean, I suppose it is a rather large keg. I will allow you a drink. And so he gives a drink to the stranger, and they have a nice long chat over the drink. They talk to each other when it's revealed that the person who came for asking for a drink is actually Death. Death says, hey kid, I'm actually supposed to take your life now, but because you were so generous and you shared this drink with me, I shall spare your life this one time. And in fact, I will give you a gift. And so Death does some wacky cool magic and makes the keg now magical. And any who drink from this keg will be healed. However, there's a catch. If the boy brings the drink to the bed of the sick person and Death is at the foot of the bed, then it's okay. The drink will work. It will heal the sick person. However, if Death is at the head of the bed, it's too late and the boy can't save them. But either way, the boy is thankful and he takes his magical drink and he journeys across the land and heals those he can find with Death at the foot of the bed. And this agreement and everything works out until one day the princess is sick. The princess of the entire land. And so the boy goes to the princess. However, Death is already at the head of her bed. However, Death is asleep right now. Death is napping. Death is not aware what's going on. He's not quite there. So the boy pulls a trick. A very sneaky trick. He takes the mattress with the princess on it and he turns it around. So now, Death appears to be at the foot of the bed. And he gives the drink to the princess who is healed. However, Death awakens. Death is, he mad. He's very upset. And he says, how dare you trick me like this? And he says, I will not stand for this. I was to take the princess's life and you've tricked me. So now I will take yours in return. It's only a fair compensation, as you know. So, the boy says, but wait. Remember that drink we had together? Please, will you give me one last request in this life that I have? And Death says, well, what is your request? The boy says, allow me to watch one more charity live stream. Death nods and says, I understand. Charity live streaming is a noble ambition, and I understand why you'd want to watch one last one before I take you away. And Death says, all right, you can watch one last charity live stream, and then I will take you. However, the boy is smart and has already come up with a good solution for this. He goes home and he watches many live streams with friends on them and many different games, but he never watches a charity live stream. He wants to prolong his life, and as long as he doesn't watch a charity live stream, he's good, dude. However, Death decides to pull a trick of his own. One night while the boy is sleeping, Death sneaks in and puts a monitor at the foot of the boy's bed. So that way when the boy wakes up, he looks down and sees Zeldathon on Twitch, where you can donate right now to Direct Relief by going to donate.zeldathon.net.
Hey, this is Narrative Telephone. I'm Frosty, and I've just heard a delightful tale from MC that I am dying to share with you all. Once, long ago, in a wonderfully wonderful land, resided a masterful brewer who prepared zestful drinks and strong beverages. When he was tired of being stationary, he traveled along the roads where he met a stranger. This hooded passerby asked for a drink from his keg, and the brewer acquiesced to this request. As they conversed about the joys of life, it is revealed that this passerby was Death himself, who asked, "Masterful brewer, your hour of reaping has come, but because you shared this drink with me, I shall spare your life this one time with a gift." With an incantation, Death infuses the brewer's keg with a magical quality. Any who shall imbibe from this keg shall have their wounds mended and their spirits renewed. However, nothing Death gifts is without its consequences. If the brewer offers a drink to one where Death lurks by the foot of their bed, the healing shall work undisrupted. Yet, if the brewer offers a drink to one where Death lurks by the head of their bed, the magic will not hold, and Death shall have his reaping. The brewer is grateful and made it his mission to journey across the realm, healing the sick and cleansing the ill of those who lay on their deathbed. And for a time, everything was well. Eventually, the brewer had voyaged to the capital of this wonderful land to meet with a certain princess, hailing beyond the apothecary's repute, and not long for the afterlife. Death lurks by the head of her bed, ready for her hour of reaping. In his inspection, the brewer notices an important detail. Death lies asleep until his appointed time. And so, a clever scheme arising in his mind, the brewer decides to pull a trick. He reverses the princess's mattress, thus orienting Death to the foot of the bed. And with one simple swig, the princess is rejuvenated and returns to full health to the elation of the land. However, nothing Death gifts is without its consequences. He awakens and discovers the underhanded tactic used against him. He speaks to the brewer with a tone of demanding gravitas. "Masterful brewer, you have delayed the hour of reaping for this mortal princess. Your graciousness has transformed it into something like wicked guile." Death raises his scythe over the brewer and speaks once more, his tone even more demanding. "It is a fair compensation to take the place of the princess's hour of reaping, is it not?" The brewer hastily responds, "Please wait. Do you remember the drink we shared all those years ago? Will you grant one last request in this fleeting life?" Death lowers his scythe. "What is this request?" he will say. The brewer takes a deep breath, reflecting on his mission thus far, and with firm resolve, he stares at Death in the face. "Allow me to watch one more charity live stream." Death nods. "It is a noble ambition indeed, masterful brewer. Perhaps your graciousness has expanded in the later portions of your life. Very well. I shall grant you this request before your hour of reaping comes to watch one last charity live stream. Though he is gracious, the brewer is also coy. He returns to his home and watches many live streams, many with the companions he's made, and many featuring his favorite games. He, however, never watches a single charity live stream seeking to prolong his life. Once more, nothing death gifts is without its consequence. Death lurks beyond the veil, by the bed of the brewer. He retrieves the brewer's monitor and places it by the head of the bed. And so, when the brewer wakes up from his peaceful slumber, you'll notice a particular live stream being displayed, Side Quest, on twitch.tv, where you can donate right now to direct relief at donate.zellathon.net.
Oh, hello. How's it going? I just heard a riveting 7-minute rendition of a story from Frosty, and I would love to share it with you. Once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, there was a brewer, and he brewed brews. They were lots of tasty drinks. He sold them at his tavern. People would come, enjoy the drinks. He had good company. He was happy. Life was pretty okay. And one day, a hooded figure came to his bar. That hooded figure's name was Richard, and he was Death. Now, when you're visited by Death, usually you expect like a scythe or something, coming to take your soul, the Grim Reaper. And Richard had all that. However, he did not use it. Instead, he, sat down at the bar and was like, hey, I'll have a drink. The brewer gave him one of his brewskis from his keg, and Richard tried it. Now, Richard, Death, I'll refer to him as both in this story just for clarification purposes. So Death tried the drink and was like, dang, this is good. These are some good brewskis. Usually when I come meet someone, it's because their time for death has come, and it has for you as well. However, because this drink is so dang good, I'm gonna spare you, and instead I'm gonna give you a gift. And that gift is to turn all of your amazing brewskis into healing potions. So, the brewer was like, all right, sweet. And Death, he tapped on the keg, some little magic-y doodads came out, and suddenly his brews would rejuvenate people as well. And the brewer's like, man, that's awesome, dude, thanks. And Richard, Death, was like, well, I do what I can, but, everything comes with a price when you're dealing with death. So, whenever anyone drinks your potion, I'm gonna be waiting by their bed too. And if I'm at the foot of the bed and your potion's at the head of the bed, they'll be cured. But if I'm waiting at the head of the bed, then they're gonna die. Something like that. I don't know, there's plot holes, don't worry about it. So the brewer is like, all right, whatever, cool. And he keeps brewing, and he's world famous, and then, this is a fantasy story, so he meets a princess, and they fall in love, and the princess suddenly is very sick. And she's got some incurable disease, and the brewer's like, awesome, I can give her some of my good stuff from the keg, She's gonna be fine. However, the Death was waiting at the head of the bed this time, so it was like, oh crap. What am I gonna do? He's already waiting for her. Well, he thought pretty hard about it. He was like, you know what? I'll just flip the mattress. And which, you know, you should do every 6 months or so at home, just for reference. And so they flipped the mattress around so that the princess's head was at the foot of the bed and her feet were at the head of the bed. She drank the potion and she recovered. She was all good. Everyone lived happily ever after. Not. So Death was like, hey, man, that's not cool. Like, you just drank, or you just, like, you thwarted, you know, it was her time to go, you know, that's my job. You're getting in the way of my job. And, so I'm just gonna have to kill you. And the brewer's like, man, Richard, come on, man, we're cool, right? We're cool. Like, I made you the brewskis, don't you remember? Like, we had a good thing going, you know, and Death's like, yeah, but, you know, you're tricking me, you know, it's not really cool, man. And so the brewer's like, all right, tell you what, before I will go, it's my time, I will go. However, before I go, I want to watch a Twitch live stream, charity live stream specifically. And Death, Richard was like, yeah, sure, whatever, man, that's fine. Yeah, go watch your live stream. However, the brewer is like, yeah, he just went and watched, what are they called? Twitch live streams, nonstop, but none of them were charity marathons. He was watching Ninja. He was watching other world famous Twitch streamers whose names happen to escape me. And he never watched a charity live stream. And Death was like, that's enough. That is enough. It is your time to die. So he took a monitor and he put it at the head of the bed while the brewer was sleeping, and playing on it with side quest. Dun dun dun. End scene.
Oh. Hello, I didn't see you there. This is dannymusic. You seem to have walked in on me playing the complete symphonic works of Beethoven on the bongos. That was number 5, by the way. However, since you are here, allow me to regale you with a thrilling tale of adventure and deceit that I just heard from Klinkit. I'll do my best to recount the details in full. So, once upon a time, long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, presumably the galaxy was very Earth-like, there lived a bartender who was working. He sells drinks, he makes them for a living. Presumably the drinks are alcoholic, and maybe they called it a tavern or an inn, but regardless, that was what he did. So one day he was going about his business as usual, and a strange man in a black hood walked forth to the bar. The man in the black hood ordered a drink, and the bartender obliged, and turns out the man with the black hood revealed himself and is like, hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, guy. My name is Richard, and I am actually Death personified. I have the scythe, I have the hood, I have the taking people away when it's their time to go, and make no mistake, it is now your time to go. However, I really enjoyed the drink that you made. I found it very refreshing, and as a result, I am going to elect to spare your life. However, since I am Death, you know, Richard, Death, they go hand in hand with each other, there is a bit of a catch. The catch is that your drinks are going to now contain restorative healing properties. So the bartender, who, unlike Richard, did not have a specific name, he was just like, oh, that sounds like a pretty reasonable catch. Now my drinks get to heal people? This seems like a pretty win-win situation. And then Richard Death goes, well, they may have restorative properties, but after someone drinks a beverage that you produce, I will be waiting for them either at the head of the bed or at the foot of the bed. If they if their head is at the head of the bed while I am at the head of the bed, then I will take them away. However, if I am at the foot of the bed and they are at the head of the bed, then they're fine. If I am at the head of the bed and they are at the foot of the bed, it's fine. If we're both at the foot of the bed, presumably they still get taken away. Basically, I'm going to be at either the head or the foot, and if the person matches where I am, then they're gone. If not, then not. Richard says, okay. Or no, Richard was Death. The bartender says, okay, that situation seems a bit confusing, but I guess it's better than me going forever, so we take those. Alright, so that encounter happened. The bartender got to live his life a little bit longer. Presumably he stopped working as a bartender, because potentially consigning people to have a 50-50 shot of living or dying every day after they had drank a beverage seems like a pretty bad bargain, and it might have affected his career and way of life. But regardless, the bartender goes on with his life, and eventually, because this is a kingdom, he comes across a princess and falls in love with the princess, and they get married. How that happened, I'm not exactly sure, but, you know, we take those. It's a lot better than the bartender dying. So, one day, however, the princess fell terribly, incurably sick, and they don't know exactly why, they don't know exactly what the symptoms were. All they knew was that she was terribly, incurably sick, and the only thing that could cure it was the bartender's beverages. So the bartender is like, okay, well, there's no other option. I'm going to have to use this ability that Death has so graciously given me. So the bartender gives the princess a drink, and lo and behold, the princess gets better. So before they go to sleep for the night, the bartender, I guess, like, goes in and squints at his bed and realizes that Death is at the head of the bed. So the bartender's like, oh, well, the jig is up. There's nothing I can do. Except he had a very clever idea. The clever idea was that before the princess lay down to sleep, he flipped the mattress, which, by the way, flipping mattresses is very healthy. Make sure that you do it before too long, otherwise you can get, like, bed bugs and things. That's not a good situation. But anyway, he flipped the mattress, and the princess put her head at the flipped mattress, which did not meet where Death was going to be. And as a result, the princess was able to live through the night and say good morning to the bartender the next morning. The princess was also a bit of a late sleeper, so technically she didn't say good morning at the morning. She really slept until noon, but who's recounting the details? So anyway, so the bartender and Death had an additional encounter. Richard, also known as Death, went over to the bartender afterward and was like, hey, I was going to take the princess away, and you tricked me, and that's really not cool. I'm not used to losing games such as this. And the bartender goes, yeah, well, I gave you a pretty cool drink. Remember when I gave you a pretty cool drink? I thought we were good. And then Richard, Death, says, nah, we are not good. I'm considering your life forfeit now. We're going away together. And then the bartender says, all right, well, before you do that, how about you give me one more chance? My entire time that I've been alive, I have never been able to check out any Twitch streams, so I would like a chance to at least do that. Death said, alright, I'm going to oblige on that. So they went to check out some Twitch streams, and the bartender got into, like, Ninja, Jorbs, a bunch of the popular streamers, and I don't know, XQC maybe? So he was checking those out, and then Death is like, really? All you're going to do is check out the popular streamers? You're not even going to check out any charity marathons? So, when the bartender was finally discovered dead, it was after watching a charity marathon, the charity marathon known as SideQuest, which was playing on twitch.tv/Zeldathon, and on a laptop that was situated at the head of the bed.